Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith in the Black channel here at Ticker Talker, and we're starting off the new week. It's going to be a short week. We got a couple short weeks, but this is only 3.5 sessions. On Christmas Eve, we only have a half day. So you come in here and say, oh, they're really crushing the SPY. I'm like, all we're really doing is starting over again on the monthly. So if you get a lower middle, you're going to see this. Look at this. This month doing nothing. As you can see, the ranges of all the previous months compared to this. This is the worst we've had in a long time since, yep, last Jan, right? So all we're really doing is retracing into there. But what we're doing here is we finally do have somewhat of a reversal on the weekly. So if you go to the upper middle, we took out last week's lows. However, we're back green, right? So that sets us up for a potential outside week to the upside, albeit a shortened week. But if you go to the 60, you're going to see this. Let me blow this up for you. You ever read a book that says broadening formations are rare? Yeah, throw it out. It's garbage. Let me show you something here. It's actually one of the only things that can happen, and it just did here. Right, like so. Here's your 60-minute broadening formation in the SPY, right? Price discovery, back to the highs. Price discovery, try and take out the lows. Price discovery, take out the highs. Price discovery, take out the lows, right? So you'll hear people say, buy the dip. I'm like, no, you don't buy the dip, you trade the reversal, right? Because we know what reversals look like. That's a good thing, isn't it? It is. Because right here, you're going to see this, the gap down, the inside bar, the 2-1-2 reversal back up on the 60, back up into the try, right here, inside bar, right, to the back to the upside. And if you go to a monthly, it's very repetitive. Here, right? You remember this one? Yeah, the two down, the inside month, back to the upside that led to this, right, in April. It's the exact same thing, right? Here, down big, inside, back up. And if you go to the QQQ, Qs didn't stay inside on the 60, and that's actually a bigger, higher try. You can see how much stronger they are, right? And so here, on the 60, you're going to see this. The two down by taking out the lows, 2-2 reversal right here. And you have it on a 30 as well. Nothing to this game. 2-2 reversal right back up. And then here is where it takes the daily and the weekly back green. That's something I'd want to know about. So now we got new 60s, right, to see how we're going to play this out. But you'll notice here now, if the SPY also, the inside 30 that triggers the 60 right there, sets it up. So now we're back into this big try, and we slightly take out these highs. The question is, can we do that, stay up here, and can we stay green in here? Because on the daily now, here's what you're going to see. You're going to see this broadening formation like this. Your higher high and your lower low, and this is what it looks like on the daily. So how do we get out of here? Right now, as we come racing back, the question is, we're going to go all the way back up and just take them right back to the upside. As long as this stays green on the 60 and the daily and the weekly, it's still green on the month, albeit this, albeit that, right? So the question is going to be, how do we take out this or that? That's something we want to know about, because now we're back in the middle. So let me shrink this back down for you. Because one of the things that we saw a big gap down, but that's not what happened. Financials, FAS was actually holding up. It's doing nothing in general, but one of the things you want to look for is to see, is everything getting destroyed at the same shot? That's definitely not what we saw to start the day. If we go to the gap list, so I always like to stay in gappers, NK. And NK having a nice little day here, and you can see lower left on the 30-minute. Here's something that we look for. Talk about it every day. Here, the two up by taking out the previous high. The two down. Now you could have taken this, right? See if the gaps fills. But once it gets back into that range, out. Then once it takes this, two up, two down, boom. These two are going to become an outside bar of this, right? Because we know that phenomenon exists. And when you trade in the direction of time frame continuity, when everything is green, good things tend to happen, right? And off she goes. Now you might get yourself an inside 30 up into here. If we go to edit, and edit on a tear here, and you can see this long green month and then long green week all ready to start off. Here they've lulled them to sleep here in the daily in the upper left, and then boom, right out the chute. And this is directional, but the good thing here about this 30-minute in the lower left is it poked up, so that's a two up, but the continuity was right, which means you did have corrective activity. Then boom, Off to the races back here, 92.17, and there's $2.50 so far. When people would say, I missed it. Like, no, you didn't. If we go to NTLA, and NTLA, just another gunner here. Nice long green month, starting off here on the upper middle. It's what we call the Momo Hammer. I talk about this all the time, right? Anybody got short this thing last week was like, oh, I hope it's going to roll back over. They met with some real serious buyers and got some real serious pain going on to start off the week. Right now, trying to go inside on the 30, see if that sets up again for you. If we go to SGMO, and SGMO, here, one of the things that we look for, well, here, going right to the line. Look at that nice monthly here, but bright green outside month. And then you get your inside week here in the upper middle. Outside, inside, boom. So when this takes this out, we were looking to take that out, which it did. Now the question is going to set up again for us. See if we can get a nice 60 out of it. Inside 60 up right now. So for the next hour, this is directional, but anything over 1555 gets my attention for the next hour. Watching to see if these broader averages continue, just kind of stalling out on the new 60. That could tell a few tales, especially it's a Monday to start off. Laser. And laser, remember, we liked this on the downside last week when it was getting pounded. But then you come in this week and you go to upper middle. Take out the previous high, take out the previous low. There you go, 222, just like the NK30 on the weekly above 3050 for the rest of this week. Right now, 3260 sounds good to me. We'll see if that does it on the 60 minute too. Two up, two down. Now the next hour, if we can take these highs out, that would get my attention over there. If we go to Sumo, and Sumo here once again, the outside bar on the upper middle. And then the inside. So the magnitude will take this out, which it already did. Go to the highs, right? So we want to see if this sets up again, but that's good for the rest of the week. It's also inside month to the upside here down in the lower middle. If we go to Splunk, Splunker. So Splunker red on the month, right? So that we'd want to be aware of that, but you can see on the weekly in the upper middle. Pokes down, slightly lower low last week, and then the 2-2 reversal. Now it's trying to continue. It's back up into the gap in the daily in the upper left, right? So now it's inside on the 60 here. We want to see how it can handle this. So this would get my attention. It is directional, but you did have some corrective activity because it was red, right? So if we can get through this, 173.67, that would get my attention. Looks like the broader average is still holding back and still doing the comeback trail after the gap down. If we go to LQDT, and LQDT, once again, the upper middle, inside weak to the upside. It's directional, but it's working, right? It's like we prefer to have the reversal. So the reversal was actually here on the daily. We're poked down below the old lows, then continuity changed here, right? Gives us the potential outside bar because we know that phenomenon definitely exists. There it goes. So now we'll see if that goes inside on the 60 here, just stalling out just a tad. If we go to QS, once again, directional, but here's your inside weak in the upper middle. All right, that's your consolidation, then boom, off to the races. Looking to go into new highs. It's almost there, and see if we can get any 30s or something for you. Inside 30 Momo Hammer right now for the next half an hour. So the magnitude was only to take this out here, these two, which it did. But when you trade in the direction of the aggregation series, which is buying right now, good things tend to happen. If we go to Cyber, CYBR. Cyber doing a little grindy here, but trying to finish off the job. A lot of these Cybers are cooling off after Friday's explosion, but here you can see Cyber taking out last week's highs and gunning for this here. The new high, 148.74. What's the new high here? 149, took it out. So you can see this broadening formation triangle layout down into here, like so. Here's your 2-1-2 reversal, right? And then up into the high, so taking that out. So it meets its objective. We'll see if that can continue, though. If we go to Checkpoint, CHKP. And Checkpoint coming up here in the lower middle. You're going to see this inside month, just taking that out right here. So for the rest of the month, over 124.27, I'm going to be looking at this, right? On the weekly, you're going to see these old highs. We can come after that because they took these out. Here's your triangle out, bottom of the formation. Now coming back through here. This was an outside bar, then take it out. Here was your 2-2 reversal on Friday, and this is the continuation to today. Real nice move off the 30 here, but that monthly, that's still good. If we go to MSTR, Mr. Mister, and Mr. Mister, here's what we look for in the upper left daily. The outside bar, because that's a broadening formation of this, the poke down 2, and then coming back through the broadening formation. So we're looking to take this out. When we go 2-2 reversal here above 304, trading 318.50, that's nice. We're looking to take this out, 322.32, right? Just missed it. So we can keep an eye on that, because if that works, it's going to give us the inside weak in the upper middle, right? Then that's another signal for us. So on the month, not doing very much, but we'll look at these shorter term signals to see if that picks up some steam. We had solar's trying to pick up again. Sun power, your CSIQ here, still trying to go after last week's push. We have JK Solar here, trying to going back green on the month in the lower middle. Tried to take this out, and so potentially an outside month. Excuse me. If we can take this out back up to here, and you can see more of a range to come through on the weekly, so we can certainly keep an eye on all of these guys together. You got CRISP, CRSP. And CRISP, if you go to the inside week in the upper middle, you're going to see taking that out. There's your continuation to 2, 1, 2. Just going into new highs, so some exhaustion risk. So you look at something like this. Here, the inside 30 pokes down slightly, and then the rev strat here. So if we go to a 60, inside on the 60. So this would still be directional, but above 173.09 gets my attention. Sun power goes to the highs as I speak. ATEX. ATEX, there's your Momo hammer, all right? Now it's backing off from that. So the important things about these Momo hammers like this is when I tell you the magnitude is only to take this stuff out, that's true, right? Sometimes they really jam them though, but when they don't, you want to get out, because what that means is it becomes a crowded trade. And what I mean by that is that when you go into new highs or recent highs, anybody who wants to be long might be long, right? And so then all you'd have left is profit takers that can turn into some real selling. So you always want to be aware of that. If we go to SI, and SI here, you're going to see in the upper middle, let me say the upper left, the inside day directional, up, sideways, boom, measured move, and then some. Just going into new highs, so that's exhaustion risk. Because Roku doing the same off the daily from the weekend video. The inside day to the upside, just exhaustion risk by going into new highs. If we go to Onvo, and Onvo, here you go in the lower middle. You're going to see the inside month, pokes down, and then continuity changes for the 1 bar rev strat coming back through. You can see that weekly, that's an outside week, upper middle, taking that out. So we'll see if this thing sets up again for you. Here on that 60, you're going to see this. The 2 up by taking out the highs, then the gap down. But this is still a 2 down, and then these 2 bars become an outside bar of that, and then some, right? That's good. On the hit list, crude oil gets hit right out the chute, start the week. And now potential rev strat here. You can see that inside 60. Then hammer, we'll see, but right now it's backing off. So it's coming back to a previous range. It's still an inside weak, right? And so that just tells us we can keep an eye on the XLE and friends, which is like a lot of things is gapping and sitting. So we want to see if these things can roll over and take out the opening price. That would get us my attention to the downside over here. You've got XLU and the utilities staying down here, now trying to rally back with market, but once again, taking out last month's lows. That's something I would want to know about. And you could look at something like Detroit Ed. How you doing here, buddy? Detroit Ed having some tough times. You can see that once again in the lower middle, taking out last month's lows. That's a problem. Some of the pandemics gap down, but not really falling apart like the airlines here. And so once again, gap and sit for a lot of these type of things. LITE, I'm always running out of time, aren't I? LITE going after last week's lows. This is going to get my attention if we can take this out in the upper middle below 87.52. You have Intel still having some problems, but now fighting back with the rest of the market. So what we want to do is we want to focus um, on these weekly openings. Now we're positive on that. We're back into this broadening formation. I can't stress enough, because what we want is big moves, and we don't have them, right? So next month, we want to see which side of this thing we take out. For right now, back and forth, back into the try she goes. So either side of this. Why aren't you drawn, boy? Either side of getting out of this thing, something you're going to want to know about. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, Black Channel here at Ticker Taco with Strat Time Report.